Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Okay, look.
Listen.
That's exactly how I say it. Very aggressive. Look. and not look like normal. It's episode 1, the sequel to episode 0. Please begin, Geese, with your Poke News update of the day. Or actually, I have all the Poke News. You can do the what you did this week news of the week.
What I did this week. A great question.
That sounds sick.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. So I'll talk about like this last week since we're recording on a Monday.
Malasada Mondays.
Malasada Mondays. I got to Wisconsin to be with a friend of show, Aaron, aka Professor Ticklebits.
AKA Dr. Butt Cheeks.
Butt Cheeks. As of now, I'm sure by the time this is, posted, it'll be a different name on Discord.
Yeah, Dr. Claps.
Probably. So I got in last Tuesday, and like basically every day since, we've been going to like nature stuff, and we've been birding. Saw some good birds.
Oh yeah.
Some rare birds yesterday.
Rose bred de Grosby. He sounds sick.
Yes, a rose-breasted grosby. Saw some Baltimore Orioles. We saw other rare birds that I don't remember the names of. But yeah, we saw a beaver, a ground squirrel.
As opposed to a flying squirrel?
Yeah, like ground squirrels are like long chipmunks. They also have like stripes on their backs, and they got big old eyes, but they're like not chipmunks. You could Google
the coolest sounding animal I've ever heard of.
Yeah, they are cool looking.
My exciting story of the week is that I wanted to eat Taco Bell last night, and I got in at the very last second because I was supposed to get off of work at midnight, but instead I had to wait several more hours. Luckily, I did get the Taco Bell at the last second. But to place my order for the free Nachos Bel Grande, it has to be before 2:30 because it's like it's a free reward. And it was $2.31, so I had to pay full price for my Nachos Bel Grande. So my week is ruined, and we're going to take that energy into Poke News of the week. It's a big week. It's a big week in Pokemon news. I'm sure you've all heard the Pokemon Home updates are finally out. You can finally move your Pokes from Legends Arceus, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl into Pokemon Home. Do weird stuff with evolving. Everybody's excited about it. I actually have not updated yet, and that's because I haven't patched my Legends Arceus. The reason for that is, of course, it's easier to hunt specific shinies pre-patch. So I don't know when I'm actually going to change that.
What do you mean by weird stuff with evolving?
So, like, it's really weird, the regional variants they introduced in Legends Arceus. So, like, the 3 starters evolve into new forms, Hisuian forms. And you can move older Pokemon, so like Oshawott and Dewott from Unova, the Generation 5 games, you could transfer them over now, but they evolve into the new / old, because it's from the past, Hisuian Samurott. It can't evolve into a Unovan Samurott, and you can't move a Unovan Samurott over to the new games because it's not coded in there. So it's just really weird, like the limitations on it.
Interesting.
Also, less exciting news in Pokemon Go. I'm sure every person who listens to this is very much into Pokemon Go. The statistics say. They are taking away our favorite 1 cent raid passes, the remote raid passes. Hopefully everyone will complain. And by complaining, we can get them to change it back. Much like when the Pokestop distances, they halved them to pre-pandemic, and it was very terrible for everyone. But we all complained, and now we've got them back to post-pandemic or pandemic. Oh no, we can't say that word. It does things to podcast. But we're good. We're good. We're in good times now in terms of the amount of distance we have from a stop where you can actually spin it. So you can sit at work or home and spin your stops and catch your pokes. Much easier.
Well, I hope they put it back because that's so dumb. Why would they do that?
Because they want to encourage people to pretty much only leave the house and play it and not play at home, whereas a lot of people do like to play it at home. I can kind of see it, but there's people who are like, but I can't leave the house for, multitude of different reasons.
Yeah. What's their deal? Why do they what does it matter to them if people are at home playing or outside playing?
Well, I guess just because that was the whole idea of the game, is to get people to move around and explore more of their city and meet new people. And to them, if you're just playing it at home, you might as well be playing just a regular Pokemon game. It's kind of a heated debate, I'd say, among the Pokemon Go players. I can see both sides. Okay.
Given Poke News in general, maybe this would be a good time just to talk about, since this is episode 1, our background with Pokemon in general. You go first, Guyera. You go first.
I go first? How am I going to go first? It was your idea.
Oh my god, fine, I'll go first.
Oh my
okay. God. So my background with Pokemon is that I'm younger than Guyera.
I'm not ready for old jokes. Jesus
no.
Christ.
It's relevant to the explanation.
Barely scraping 30.
Okay, so my first the Pokemon was with the reruns of the original Pokemon series. The series came out in 1997, right? The TV series.
By the time United States got it, I'd say maybe closer to 98. But yeah. I mean, Pokemon starts 96, so they made the show pretty quick. 96, 97, 98.
Regardless, I was 1 or 0 during the original release. So I watched reruns. God. I had Pokemon cards, but I never played the actual game. I just liked the aesthetic of Pokemon, and everyone else had the cards. So the first Pokemon game I played was Sword and Shield. And I got that game because I watched Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that got me more into Pokemon. And just excited about Pokemon, so that's why I started playing the games. But yeah, I don't really know a lot about Pokemon. I enjoy Pokemon. I think they're cute.
So do I.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Far too much.
So yeah, I have a very cursory knowledge of Pokemon. Aww. For those at home who can't see.
Yeah, let me just quietly talk to Geese.
Yeah. Guyera's holding up some Pokemon plushies that he has.
Little Yokohama Pikachu.
Oh my god, it's so cute. It's Pikachu.
God, that's so funny. I don't even think we said Geese and Guyera at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
That's what episode 0's for. Required list. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, did you want me to just go my entire Pokemon history? Because that could take days. Or did you want to go on about podcast origins?
Well, briefly talk about your background. Basically, yeah. Just talk about your background.
Yeah, some background. So I was the exact accurate age for Pokemon when it came out. So in the United States, I was the absolute target demographic in the big explosion of Pokemon popularity. I mean, Pokemon's still huge today. It's the biggest entertainment franchise on the planet. But it was even bigger in the beginning, like in the early 90s. So I loved it like everybody did, played it a ton. Fell off like early high school when Ruby and Sapphire were announced because at the time they didn't make it clear that eventually you are going to be able to move over your old Pokemon. Well, not I should say you could never move over your red, blue, yellow, gold, silver Pokemon, but they did remake those games. So you did get to get those Pokemon back eventually. Because a lot of the designs in Ruby and Sapphire are like very similar to red, blue, yellow, gold, silver. So it looked like they were just replacing them and forgetting their roots. And I was like, I'm not into that. So I didn't play that generation until much later. But then the remakes come out, and then there's like a bigger influx of Pokemon players who play the originals with Leaf Green, Fire Red. Got it in Pokemon, and then oh god, I have so much to say about Pokemon. I'm just in my mind, I'm going through the timeline, and I'm like, all right, there's 1% of the timeline.
Okay, I think it's fair to say that you're a very extensive background with Pokemon, not only the games, the video games, but also the card game, right?
Yes. Okay. So I'll just hit the biggest points then. So we go jump to Gym 4, Diamond and Pearl. I'm working as a tour guide for NASA, the Johnson Space Center, where Mission Control is. I convince no less than 7 of my coworkers to all buy Nintendo DSs and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And we would just be playing that game all day. And we'd go into the underground and get Spiritomb, and it was very sick. Like there'd be these big like parties where people did like cool people things, and we'd all just be sitting there playing Pokemon while they're playing beer pong or what have you. Okay, so then I love Pokemon. I never stopped loving Pokemon. I play all the games. As a kid, I did play the Pokemon trading card game. I went to Pokemon League. That was cool. Some people stole my cards. It was very sad. I was probably crying about it. Then fast forward to Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The card game is going to release. And I convinced my girlfriend at the time to go to the pre-release for this because we were like playing like just random theme decks, having fun with the cards from the store. And we decided because the art on Heart Gold Soul Silver cards were so good, just the most beautiful art you've ever seen. We got to somehow incorporate how good the art is into this audio podcast. I don't know how. But so we go to this pre-release. I bring around my, at the time, little kid cousin. So I'm like, don't feel as goofy being an adult going to this. But there's plenty of adults. It's fine. So we go to the pre-release. So we get some of these cards before they actually come out. Super sick. We keep doing that. Every 3 months, a new set comes out. We collect. Cut to like, I don't know, a year and a half later or something. Start really getting into it and actually playing, which turns into going to tournaments, like placing in tournaments and getting like special cards for doing well in tournaments. Then I become a judge. So I work with the Pokemon Company International, and they pay you in boxes of Pokemon cards. And I hosted my own tournament at the big old Houston Giant Regionals. So yeah, lots of fun in that Pokemon aspect. Super sick.
Well, what about the series, the TV series?
Watched the original, like everybody did. Fell off like probably Orange Island's time, and then we watched the girlfriend I mentioned earlier. We were watching what generation would that have been? The Generation 5 Pokemon. So like Best Wishes is what it's called in Japan, but I think it's just called Pokemon Black and White in the United States. Not a good show, like, but we just love looking at the cute pokes, like looking at them walking around, playing and saying their names. Like it's just adorable to look at the Pokemon. Other than that, like the storylines, whatever. Yeah. But this new Pokemon we're going to talk about, Sun and Moon, that's some good art. I'm hearing some good stories.
Yeah. So should we talk about the actual, like the series, like briefly, like just talk about how, like, okay. So when did Sun and Moon, the video game, come out?
What was that, 2016? Let's see.
Okay.
Sun and Moon release date.
So basically, if you're not familiar with the Pokemon media machine, usually a Pokemon, a new generation, right? Or it's called Generations, right?
Yeah. Sun and Moon was the start of Generation 7 on 3DS.
Yeah. So when they release like a new video game or new generation, the Pokemon company also makes a related anime based on that video game, with some of the same characters and, obviously the same new Pokemon. So that is the show we're watching is based on Pokemon Sun and Moon, which came out on the 3DS.
Yes. So it's normally set in the region. They changed it now with the most recent one where he's traveling all around the world. But Sun and Moon is in Alola, which is based on Hawaii. And they completely revamped the art style, which is really sick because it had a very stagnant, like boring art style, just really not interesting to look at all, just generic. And actually, Sun and Moon had a bit of like blowback from people when they would see like stills of it, because it just like some people may argue, oh, the animation's not as clean or it's like less professional or something. But if you watch the show in motion, the animation is 10 times better.
It's amazing.
It allows for so much more expression, and it's so much funnier, and the battles can be way sicker. Like they do these faces in this show so often. Always laughing. Yeah. Always having a good time.
Yeah, the animation is amazing. It's the one of the reasons why I love the show so much. It's just they're so fun with it. Like the animation and like the faces and the posing is so dynamic. It's really great. I love it. I love it so much because like my only other context for a Pokemon show was the original series, which was pretty old. And
a little bit.
Yeah. It just the animation for Sun and Moon is just so clean and like everything is so bright in the world. I really like Alola. It's like really
Alola.
bright and cheery.
Did they say that in English? Alola?
Alola, like the Alola region.
They don't say Alola?
No, they do Alola. Wait, hold on. Oh,
Alola? I'm trying to think how they say it in Japanese. Alola? Alola.
Alolan.
That's more like the previous generation, which is based on French. Carlos. Kylo. Alola.
Well, now I'm going to have to pay attention for the next
We're going to be fighting over the pronunciation. Alolan Pokemon. Alola. Oh, I just briefly mentioned, but yeah, so the way we're going to do this is Geese is watching. My name's Guyera. Let me mention that 20 minutes in. Geese is watching the show in English very easily because I think it's on the Pokemon website or whatever.
Yeah, the entire series is on Pokemon.tv for free.
Yeah, so watch along if you want. I recommend it, but if you don't want to do that, I painstakingly wrote every single thing that happens in every episode, so you could just listen to me talk about it too. Both work. I have a better time watching little goofball anime like this, or like even playing like Japanese games. They're like, not grounded in realism. In Japanese, I think it's better for my suspension of disbelief because I can hear the Japanese speaking and I can read the English text and my brain can just make it be like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds sick. Whereas if it's in English, I'm kind of like, things may come off cheesier than they otherwise might be. But it took me a little bit to find it in Japanese because it's not just an option on the Pokemon site. I had to type in sketchywebsite.org.
Oh.
It's fine, I'm sure. You know how many thousands of dollars I've spent on Pokemon? They'll give me a break.
Yeah,
Jesus
for real.
God.
Oh, it's just Guyera.
God. Okay. So we can talk about our thoughts on episode 1. I suppose we should do them in order. Not like me. I watched episode 3 before 2 because I didn't realize what I was doing, so that was cool. Jumped right into it.
Okay.
So we should start with 1, then go 2, then go 3. That's our initial plan right now, is to do 3 episodes in episode. That maybe will work. Maybe we'll change that. I don't know. Depends.
We'll see.
Yeah, I can't predict the future. I can't. Okay. So do you want to discuss what you thought of episode 1 before I go into the plot of episode 1? At which point, please interrupt so I can breathe because I have 10,000 words or so written.
I mean, like, my general thought about episode 1 is that I really like it. I think it does a really good job of introducing the Alola region. I think, yeah, I don't know if I have like a lot of thoughts about it. I think, I mean, I enjoyed. I obviously enjoyed it.
All right, so we enjoyed it. We liked it. Don't got a lot of thoughts.
I mean, it does. The pacing is really good. It does a good job. It does what it's supposed to do. It sets up where we are.
Editing in it, like you remember, like when it's like retelling the story of how they got this trip to Alola, and they do like that rewinding and the fast forwarding and stuff.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
Good shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It just does what it needs to do as a pilot episode for a new series. I don't know what to tell you.
It's in and it's out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep hounding you about it for the next 30 minutes. Okay. So we'll go ahead and go over the plot. And again, please interrupt with any thoughts on anything I have to say, or say that was completely unnecessary to say, like the color of somebody's sandal or something. Okay. So Pokemon Sun and Moon, the anime. Episode 1, in English, Alola, to New Adventure, or Alola. Japanese title, unfortunately, I'm not going to read the hiragana katakana here, but this current translation on Bulbapedia says, Alola, the starting island, the starter Pokemon, 2 exclamation points. Aired in the U.S. December 5th, 2016. Japan, November 17th, 2016.
No, that's other way around. It aired in Japan November. Wouldn't it air in Japan first?
Yeah, that's what I said. December for US, November for Japan.
Oh, okay. I misheard you. I'm sorry.
So what happened? Sorry. Hello. What happened is they like previewed the first 2 episodes in English, and it like aired right around the time it aired in Japan. But then episodes 3 and beyond, people had to wait like a long time before they got them localized or whatever. God, more than half a year or something. Weird. Okay, so let's go over the plot of episode 1. I've already forgotten the title of the episode. That's fine. Hopefully you remember.
Alola to a New Adventure or whatever.
Good work. Good work, Geese. Okay, so we open. It's sick. Brand new art style, like we mentioned before. We see Pikachu, we see Ash, and they're having a wonderful time. They're surfing the waters of Alola. They're on a Sharpedo, which we learn later is a ride Pokemon.
A water ride Pokemon.
That's exactly correct. There's also Sky ride Pokemon and Ground ride Pokemon. How many other ride Pokemon? Sneeze? What?
Were you about to sneeze?
Oh, I don't have to sneeze. No. Surfing the golden waves over here. He's playing in the water. They're playing in the water. They got Pukumukus giving little peace signs, little having fun. You see everybody's favorite Pokemon, Bruxish, jump out of the water. It's a wonderful time in Alola.
I knew none of these Pokemon.
Oh. Bruxish, that's the goofy looking fish with those lips. Mm-hmm. People don't like Bruxish. So I'm glad Bruxish. It's like breakfast. Bruxish. People don't like Bruxish, but that's fine. I'm glad he gets to be in episode 1. We see Lana. She's the little blue-haired girl thing on. I think she's on a Lapras or something. She's just fishing, having fun. We're gonna see more of her later. She's a trial captain or Kahuna. I'll have to look that up later. It's been a while since I played the games.
She's not in the show. Spoiler.
She's in the show.
She's not a Kahuna on the show.
She's a something. She's a trial captain. Well, we haven't got to it. Spoilers. Oh my god, she's important. She's important.
Well, she's the first of Ash's classmates, as we'll later learn.
Yeah, they're at the
One of
little Pokemon school.
Yeah, that we see on the show.
Maybe in the show she'll get like, because I haven't seen it either. I'm not familiar with Pokemon lore, so maybe she'll get like, spoilers, upgraded to being a trial captain / Kahuna something. No, I should say trial captain, not a Kahuna, because Kahuna's like the big dude that's not introduced.
I don't know what a trial captain is, to be honest.
So in Sun and Moon, the video games, it was the first game not to have gyms in a Pokemon League. Like all the other games. So you would like get your 8 badges, you'd go to the Pokemon League, you'd fight in Elite Four. Alola was the first region ever to be like, oh, hey, we're going to start a Pokemon League and you're here. Like you're going to be the first one to see like what we're going to try with this. So there were no gyms in the time of Pokemon Sun and Moon. There are no gyms to go to. So they just have these people called trial captains or Kahunas. I think there's like different classes of trainers. And they'll like teach you Z moves and cool stuff. And then once you learn from them by going to all the islands of Alola, then you fight their version of the Elite Four. I can't remember at the time if they actually call it Elite Four. You got bigger things to worry about in Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
There's like trans-dimensional rift destruction. There's a lot going on in this series. The intro to this, I don't know if in English it does this, but it seems like it spoils a lot of what's going to happen in the show in the Japanese.
It does a little bit, yeah. I guess this is a good time to also say that like I've watched this entire series, but Guyera hasn't.
You've seen all of it already?
Yeah, I've seen all of it.
Oh man.
Well, I will try my best not to spoil anything, but also like when we talk about the episodes, I guess we can talk about like how they differ from the video game, because like just what you explained, a lot of that is in the show in some way. I'll keep a vague statement.
Yeah, well, okay. Go to Geese for actual information about the television show then, because she's like, she's not a trial captain. I'm like, yes, she is. So go with her. This isn't a Pokemon Sun and Moon video game cast. It's just this is the show. Okay, so back to where we were in the plot of the episode. We're 3 seconds in to the episode. Okay, Ash wants to be surprisingly, Ash wants to be a Pokemon master. And potential spoilers for this series. Okay, we see the intro in Japanese, super sick, everybody's sliding down slides, you see the Kahunas. Like I said, they're spoiling. Okay. Cubone is adorable. He's on the beach. He's playing in the sand. Everyone's having a great time at the beach. It's really setting the scene for this show. So I mentioned before, Ash and Pikachu on the Sharpedo. Turns out he rented that Sharpedo from the guy who rents out ride Pokemon. He's shirtless. Is that important? Who knows? I mean, it is. It's bright out. It's hot out.
Lots of shirtless characters in this series.
Lots of shirtless people. Okay, and there's a Alolan Pokemon everywhere, right? Makes sense. Okay, what do we see now? Litten, the adorable fire starter Pokemon. We see him snoozing. We see him licking himself. Ash and Pikachu running on the beach, having a wonderful time. What does Ash do, Geese? You already know.
Ash doesn't see Litten and accidentally steps on Litten's tail. And then Litten, like, I don't know if gets mad, like, reacts. Yeah, gets mad and, like, I don't throws a
throws a fire. He's upset.
A ball of fire because he's a cat, I guess.
Yeah, Litten's upset. Litten attacks Ash because Ash ran on his tail because he's having such a fun time running around the Alola region. We cut to Ash's mom. She's relaxing with her pineapple juice with Mr. Mime at a resort type location, would you say? Just like the hotel they got?
Yes, it is a hotel. And like it's revealed after this that Mr. Mime won them these tickets to the Alola resort
through a weird lottery. Like they show how it happened in a flashback, and it's just like Mr. Mime with a gold ball popping out of like a bingo hopper or something.
It's really odd. I don't know, but
So Mr. Mime gambles all the family's money away, but they win a big trip to Alola, so it's exciting. And also this is where we see those interesting storytelling methods I brought up earlier, where it's like the fast forwarding effects, and it's just they're having way more fun with the series. I'm so happy to see
Yeah.
this in
You
Pokemon.
can tell that the people who made the show love Pokemon. It really shows.
Yes.
Like, it really does.
Okay. So we got Ash talking to his mom. They're going on about what happened. There's something about eggs and Professor Oak's cousin, Samson Oak. Is that what it's called in the English version?
I think so. I think so. So, they're talking about how they won this trip, and they're also like, and we get to deliver this egg to Professor Oak's cousin. So it's like convenient or whatever. So, and then they show in another flashback that like Professor Oak gave him an egg to deliver to his cousin, and so that's another thing that they have to do while in Alola.
Alola?
Alola?
Yeah, they go to deliver the egg. They're on their little Tauros taxi. They gotta bring it to school.
Yeah. I need to talk about this. And
Yes.
Guyera's going to get mad at me.
Oh, God.
But the reason why I found out about this show was because someone I follow on Twitter tweeted that in the series, Ash's mom is dating Mr. Mime.
No, Geese. God,
let me talk.
What is with you people and making Pokemon not wholesome and family friendly?
Let me talk about it, okay? So they're not dating, obviously, but I have to mention this. I have to. While they're in the taxi, the Tauros-driven taxi, Mr. Mime's hand is on Ash's mom's thigh the entire time.
You don't have to lie to people.
I'm not lying. Guyera, look at the show again. I swear to God.
Maybe he's holding on. He doesn't want to fall off.
They're going like 3 miles an hour.
Look, sometimes cats will put their little paws on their owners, and it's fine, and there's nothing untoward.
He's not a cat.
He's a sort of like a pet helper, kind of like he's like a seeing eye dog. He has a job to do.
They later in the episode they show like Ash Skyping his mom, and like Mr. Mime's in the back, like holding groceries and holding like a newspaper. Like Ash and Mr. Mime are at least platonic companions.
Ash and Mr. Mime.
Sorry, Ash's mom and Mr. Mime. Like, yeah.
In my show, his name's Satoshi. But yeah, don't listen to anything Geese just said. Strike him from the record.
Look,
it's all wholesome. It's
that tweet was literally why I looked into the show.
Well, what's the phrase? Road to glory, ashes to ashes. It all ends justify the means. All right. So enough of that. We're on Tauros. Nothing weird happening on there. They got to pick up fruit. They see a bunch of tasty Alolan fruit. They grab some of that. What do I have written down here? Oh, more adorable new Pokemon. We run into a little poke that actually evolves into my favorite Alolan Pokemon, Vikavolt. So he's cute.
Hold on.
Yes.
So there's a at some point during this, or maybe it's shortly after this segment, but there's a like, you know, the standard, who's that Pokemon? And
was it Pikachu?
It was Grubbin.
Oh, it was Grubbin.
Who we see, yeah. And I was watching with Aaron, and I was like, Aaron, what's that Pokemon? And he named it Dildermom.
Dildermom?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Anyway, sorry, go back to what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, little grubs. In my show, they didn't do who's that Pokemon. It's Grubbin. They just did like a slide puzzle, and it was Pikachu. So it sounds like the United States got a better shake of the stick. That's a phrase. Grubbin's sitting there. I think Ash is like, oh, look at this cute poke. And then Grubbin bites Ash's nose because Grubbin's got this like little pincers. He's adorable, but deadly, evidently.
He's like a pincer beetle or like a stag beetle.
Yeah. A big old beetle. Okay, so yeah, little Grubbins bites Ash's nose. Ash chases him? Is that what happens? Does he want to go catch him?
Yeah.
Should have written more words than Ash chases. Okay. And so then we cut to Tapu Koko. He's pissed about something. He's lurking in the shadows of a jungle. Tapu Koko is one of the legendary Pokemon of this region. There's all these like Tapus, Tapu Bulu, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini. And the island we start in is Tapu Koko's. Are we in Melee? May need to cross-reference some info to add. I'll have like a cheat sheet of where we are, a family tree chart, and a map, so that way I'm never lost on where I am in the show. You know, it's as complicated as Lord of the Rings or something.
Tapu Koko's design is like meant to emulate kind of like traditional Native Hawaiian like art.
They say he looks like a rooster, sort of like his little what do you call that thing on your head?
A hat?
No, his little rooster thing. What the hell is it called that a rooster has on top of his head? Little hair, goofballs.
But like, if you just Googled Tapu Koko, you know what I was talking about. But anyway, yeah.
He's pissed about something. We're going to be going back to this jungle. Like the jungle, it seems like 90% of the scenes take place in this jungle forest somewhere.
Yeah.
We see Tapu Koko upset about something, pissed, kind of looks like it. Then we see Beware. Now, Beware is an interesting Pokemon because on the surface, he kind of looks cute, but in reality, he's unbelievably deadly and terrifying.
He's a giant bear.
Yep, a huge bear. Evolves from Stuffle, an adorable little teddy bear. And Beware is a big version of that, but horrifying.
And Beware is a Pokemon, like a new one. It's a lowland Pokemon, right? That's new for the generation.
Yeah, most of the Pokemon that they are like actually spotlighting in this are going to be either brand new Pokemon or lowland forms of older Pokemon, which we'll go on about that later. Because they're pretty clear about that. I think this show does a good job of like explaining the concepts introduced in these games, because Sun and Moon introduced the idea of a regional variant, which Pokemon Game Freak, they've really leaned into since then. And I think it's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I like it.
It's very, very neat. It makes a lot of sense. So correct me if I'm wrong here. Ash is like, oh, cool, look at this Pokemon. And does he approach Beware thinking he's going to be friendly? Because is Beware like waving to him?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so then what happens is Beware, in Japanese, does this horrifying scream that sounds like it's from, I don't know, The Ring or The Grudge, and he just uses one hand to destroy an entire forest, just starts breaking all these trees. And then we cut back to Ash doing this ridiculous face, which is very funny. I love these faces they do in this.
And I like the Beware doing this too, because like Beware's face does not change when Beware's like karate chopping trees. Jesus Christ.
That's what he sounds like in Japanese.
In the English version, it's like high pitched, like
maybe they use the same audio for that. They may, for both languages, because it's just a scream. Like, how would you wouldn't need to translate the little scream.
I don't know.
It's probably the same audio. I'll check. I'll let you know episode 2 if you remind me. Okay. So Ash is sprinting away screaming from the enormous threat. We see some more Tapu Koko. And then we see in the skies a Charizard of all things. A Charizard is not an Alolan Pokemon. It is a Cantonian Pokemon, but it is being used as, what did we talk about earlier? A ride Pokemon, a sky ride Pokemon. And I believe it's being ridden by Kiawe. Is that his name? Correct?
Yeah.
Kiawe. We're going to see a lot of Kiawe. He's going to become a main character. Ash, I think, is like, oh, sick. They can ride Charizards, or Lizardons, as they call them in Japanese. That's Ash's exact words. And then Ash finally, after almost dying, Ash finally makes it to the school. The school looks sick. It looks fun. You see Lily, who we're going to be introduced to. She's surrounded by very adorable Pokemon. Cute Alolan Pokemon. Ash almost dies again because there's Tauros racing and they almost run him over. Mallow, I believe, is one of the people on a Tauros. Mallow is super sick. She's like, I was about to say a grass type gym leader, but that's not accurate. She's also like a trial captain, something Kahuna in the game. I think she has grass type Pokemon. Lily loves Pokemon, but she's afraid to. God, we're introducing like 55 characters, so I hope you're taking notes at this point. Lily's got a big old hat. That's going to be important later. She loves Pokemon, but she's kind of afraid of them. She doesn't want to touch them.
She says that she likes them from, in the English version at least, that she likes them from a research point of view, but she's afraid to like touch them. And you know what? Big mood.
Yeah, big
I'm
mood.
the same way about animals.
Yeah, they introduced so many characters like right off the bat that from episode 1 we don't really know their personalities all just yet, so I can't really describe in detail each person, but we know Lily. We got some amount of personality there. We got Lana there again. We saw her in the opening on that Lapras fishing. We have Sophocles. He's the big giant nerd. He knows how to work with mechanics and whatnot.
He's like the electric one.
Yeah. He has a little Togedemaru, which is an electric steel type, I think. Sounds right.
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Mallow, we mentioned earlier. She likes to cook. She's got a little Boon Sweet. She greets Ash, goes to show him around, grabs his hand. They walk into the school. They see some cool fossils. They look outside. They see some Pokemon playing basketball, some cool fighting type Pokemon. There's a school. Now, okay, this sounded weird in Japanese. In English, did they call it School Soul Rock?
No.
Yeah, I thought that sounded weird.
It's called the Pokemon School.
Just Pokemon School? Okay. So here comes the portion of the episode where Geese is going to have to, if she remembers, I don't know, she wrote down every pun that Samson Oak does. But since I'm watching in Japanese, they're giving all the Japanese names. So sometimes I'm missing his puns because I know all the English folks' names, but I don't know all the Japanese names. So I'm like missing half of what he says. We meet Samson Oak. We meet the principal of the school. We meet Professor Oak's cousin. All one and the same. This individual. He's got like a real dark tan.
Mallow like drags Ash to the principal's office, and like not like in that sense. She like knocks on the she knocks on the door and is like Professor Oak, we have a new student. And Ash is like, a new student, because like she thinks that Ash is a new student. And then Samson Oak, who's the principal, comes out, and his whole shtick is that he uses Pokemon puns and talking. And when he uses like a Pokemon pun, his like face changes to resemble the Pokemon he's making a pun of.
So I think one of them was Trapinch, because it kind of looked like Trapinch. Do you remember him saying Trapinch?
Dude, I can't remember because I don't know any Pokemon. Like, I really don't know
his name though, right?
Yeah.
We'll keep track somehow.
Yeah. And then Ash's mom and Mr. Mime are also in the principal's office because
correct.
That's where they were going to deliver the egg anyway. And so she was like, "Oh, good, you made it. We didn't know where you went." So yeah.
In case any of you are unaware, Ash's reaction to being like, "What, a student?" I mean, if you want to go like, the canon is weird with Pokemon, but if you want to think about like all Ash has accomplished before Sun and Moon, that boy has traveled like the entire planet and destroyed so many evil organizations and gotten and won like every badge in the world and gotten to the end of Pokemon League. So
I will say, and I'll be broad about it, they do address that background in the show.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a cartoon type thing where he always stays the same age. So, you know, they can't really say like, oh yeah, he's an accomplished veteran here. He should be like 30-something years old. They do some more funny faces in here. And Oak does his face just like Pikachu does, where he like emulates other pokes. Then we jump to what Geese was talking about earlier. They get on Skype, they get on Zoom, they call up Professor Oak. They tell him, obviously, they're here. They brought the egg. Is there anything else that happens before Team Skull shows up? Because I don't have anything else written here.
I don't think so.
Okay, so they tell Oak, okay, everything's good. Then we cut outside to the introduction of the evil team of this region, which is Team Skull. They're giving Kiawe a hard time outside, the guy that was on the Charizard earlier. And what did they say to him? That they just want his Pokemon?
I think
they certainly want a battle, and they want to have a battle for stakes. So Team Skull, they're like goofballs in this black and white outfit. We don't learn like their main deal yet. I think Guzma's in charge of them, but we'll learn that like later in like 3 months or something. But they say, here, let's have a battle, and if we win, we get your Charizard, I guess. Is that who he has out right then, is Charizard? Or maybe not? Because I know he pulls out Turtonator later.
Yeah, Charizard is with him.
Okay, so Kiawe's like, yeah, I'll battle you or whatever. Team Skull throws out Zubats, a bunch of Yungoos, Salandit. The Yungoos and Salandit are new pokes for Sun and Moon, Alola. Ash sees this going on, and of course, he loves Pokemon battling. He's a regular Goku. So he jumps in to help to battle. Kiawe's like, I don't need any help. I'm good. And then Kiawe throws out the Turtonator, which is a very intimidating Pokemon. A sick battle ensues. Pikachu does incredible, as does... I have written down here Bakugan, because that's what his name sounds like in Japanese, but that's Turtonator.
Turtonator looks like a giant, big tortoise looking thing.
Kind of looks like a kappa in the face, if you're familiar with Japanese mythology.
Yeah, and it's like fire Pokemon, right?
Yeah, he's fire and dragon. He's got a big old giant like Bowser shell kind of thing, spikes on it. Again, always from the damn corner of the room or jungle forest, Tapu Koko watching the battle. So basically, if I don't mention Tapu Koko's there watching, just know he's there watching. I was impressed at this point that this is episode 1, they're already introducing Z moves, which I did not expect. But Kiawe's like, all right, let's absolutely destroy these little Team Skull guys. Let's do a giant Z move Turtonator. In Japanese, it's called Inferno Overdrive. Do you remember what it's called? Okay.
Yep.
It was very sick as hell. Just everyone's dead is what it looks like. They're all just laying on the ground. Luckily, then they go back in the Pokeball, so there's no...
Wait, before we move on, why don't you explain what a Z move is?
Okay, so a Z move is, which they call Z move in this. It's like something that people can learn on each island by training with like kahunas or whatever. And you have to wear this little like bracelet and have this little crystal. And basically the trainer and the Pokemon move in unison with the like same movements. And it just creates this super powered giant mega attack, which is a completely new concept. Like I can't really think of them ever doing anything like that before. In Generation 6, they had Mega Evolution, but they didn't have like special moves like this that I can recall. So this is the first time the series has tried something like this. It's kind of neat. A neat little gimmick for this region.
Yeah.
And it's only in this region. That's important to know. Like in the games and everything, it's like they're only using Z moves here. They didn't like bring that forward into Generation 8 or anything. Ash is very impressed by this Z move.
Yeah.
Skull was also terrified of Z-Move, and they were like, you need to tell us if you're going to do something like that or if you know how to do that, and they run away. Yes.
After this, sorry, let me jump in.
Yeah, please.
So, like, after this, like Guyera said, like, Ash is so impressed. He's like, what's that? And then, like, Kiawe explains basically what Guyera said about Z-Moves, about how you have to, complete the island challenge, to all of the island challenges to get like a Z ring and a Z crystal that allows you to do like a Z move. It just goes on about that, and yeah, Ash is just like, yeah, that's cool.
everybody's very impressed. And of course, we jump to Tapu Koko. He flies away after watching this whole battle. Ash actually sees Tapu Koko, but nobody else does. They're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So then we cut to the traditional Hawaiian dinner. That it's like the stereotype of, and reality as well.
Wait. You
Yes.
you missed a crucial part. Okay.
Which is?
So when Ash is like, "Did any of y'all see that Pokemon in the air?" And they're all like, "No." And then like he describes what it looks like, or like just talks about it.
The rooster head, yep.
Yeah, and then like I think Lily's like, "Oh, that sounds like an island guardian," and then like Professor was it Professor Kukui?
Kukui, yeah.
Yeah,
In a
so
book I read.
he's also like, "Oh, that's probably Tapu Koko or something like that." So this is like right just before this happened. We meet Professor Kukui, who are he's the professor or the teacher of students of like Mallow, Lily, Sophocles, Kiawe.
And he's the actual like professor of the region. We meet him in Sun and Moon, and he's your actual like regular professor.
Yeah. And he's his everyday attire is a lab coat, but it's unbuttoned and he's just shirtless.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, he's great and I love him.
Sick ass sunglasses.
Yeah. He's having a good time.
He's living his best life, and he's got the cutest
really
little Rockruff Pokemon known to man. Just an absolute precious angel, baby, child.
Yes.
Rockruff.
So after that, they cut to like a traditional like Hawaiian luau.
The fire spinning, having a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, Ishi Des, delicious food, as you can imagine. Tapu Koko at it again. We can't go 3 seconds without Tapu Koko showing up. Ash interrupts immediately what he's doing. I think he gets one bite into his damn food and then chases after Tapu Koko, running through like these weird, I can't even describe it. What is it like? There's city kind of areas, more jungly kind of areas, and then they're over an overlook of a city. Yeah, it's supposed to look nice, resorty type area. Tapu Koko looks at him, gives him a Z-Move bracelet, and it shines super cool. And then he just leaves. And then we cut to the next morning. Was there anything in that scene? It looks like there's something missing from this scene, but that's like he just walks up there, gets it, and leaves. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of subtext, I guess. No dialogue. Next morning, Ash loves this place. Does he wake up in Kukui's house?
Yeah.
So he's living with Kukui at this point.
Yeah. So like they explain, like he wakes up the next morning, he's on a Skype call with his mom, and he basically explains like, "Thanks, Mom, for letting me stay here and live with Professor Kukui so I could go to the Pokemon school."
Because it was supposed to just be a vacation, but he's like, "I'm gonna stick around because this is sick as hell." He decides to stay, and his mother's fine with it.
Yeah, she's like, "Of course, sweetie." Like she's super supportive. Like
Mr.
I said,
Mime's in a bathrobe.
Mr. Mime is in bed, like a kimono.
Like romantic music playing.
He's like literally like in a kimono or something, like a like like you walk around the house in the like a kimono and like he's wearing slippers and he's holding a newspaper. Like,
look, maybe
in the background.
Maybe he needs to know what's going on in the world. Oh God, there's nothing wrong between the relationship of the Pokemon trainer and her partner Pokemon. It's fine, everybody. Jesus.
Okay.
We don't need to look into things that aren't there. All right, so he's super excited. He being, of course, Ash Ketchum. He runs off to school. He's staying with the professor. He gets to a race with Pikachu, right? They're like, "Let's race to the school." And Pikachu's cheats, like running way before they're supposed to be running. And then it, jumps to be continued. So we can see his adventures in the school. The outro song for me, very good. Like it's like this Japanese rapping with all the different Pokemon types. Very cool outro. I recommend anybody watch that outro. Okay, that was episode 1. Yeah, very exciting introduction to a region. Wonderful art style. I guess we can decide now, because we're at around an hour now, if we're going to jump into another episode, we definitely need to take a break because I have to use the facilities. Should we stop this recording or leave this recording, or what should we do?
We could like end our episode here and then
we can all listen. We can always record whatever and then decide what to do with that audio. Like split it up later. And then if need be, like splice in a little, okay, and now here's episode 2 or what have you. The thing is, I have to pee so bad. I cannot think straight. So the only question is, do I hit stop recording or do I just pee real quick and leave the recording going?
I just stop recording.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I just do it. I don't know.
I don't know what a better idea is. Call Aaron. We need Aaron. Don't they leave the recording going if they have to pee?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to
pee too.
Okay, everybody pee. Everybody.
We're not.
Don't you remember the option? That's an option we have, which is cut out long silence.
I know, but like that might ruin like comedic timing or something. We can manually do that.
Yeah. Okay. No, we're leaving it. Okay, everybody, go pee. If you're listening to this, go pee. Do you like how I ask you a question, but if it's not the answer I expected, I'm just like, what are you talking about?
I'm used to it, Guyera.
I don't even know why I asked. Okay. So as everyone probably did, much like me, after episode 1, you watched episode 3. So let me move forward into the notes here and jump to episode 2, which I watched most recently. Very amusing that I didn't notice at all watching episode 3 that there was missing information. But on to episode 2. Episode 2. Was this the weakest of the 3 starting episodes? Who's to say? I guess we'll find out as we discuss the episode in the plot of episode 2 called The Guardian's Challenge, or in Japanese, The Guardian Deity Kapu Kokeko, or Tapu Koko in English, appears. Challenge, our Z move. 2 exclamation points. So very exciting. I've got here, we open with Poplio, one of the starter Pokemon of Alola. Adorable baby child.
Poplio, for those who don't know, is like a blue seal. They're really cute, like pinkish reddish, like nose. It's like
a circus seal.
It's a circus seal, exactly.
His final evolution is called Primarina. It's a very feminine Pokemon. So when I played Sun and Moon, it's the only time I've ever done this. I didn't just take the first starter I received. I kept soft resetting the game over and over again until I got a female Poplio, so I could get a female Primarina. But yeah, it opens with Poplio. Very adorable. We see Togedemaru again. All the new characters that we've met in this school.
Yeah.
It opens with them going on about what to do, like what their jobs are here.
Mm-hmm.
We see.
No, you go.
We see great faces. I'm just going to say that sentence a lot. We see a good face. I mean, I'm not going to describe the face. I'm just saying good face.
So, like, the main classmate characters are all in the classroom already, and Ash is still at home, right? Or at Professor.
He's always late. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the classmates are talking, and they're like planning, like, I guess surprises, right? Or is that the next episode?
Today the surprise day? Whew, I'm the wrong person to ask that question on which episode. If I can shuffle through my notes here. Yeah, today's got to be the surprise because next episode there's a completely different threat, right?
Yeah. So basically,
yes. This is surprise day. We're gonna get into the surprises.
So like they're talking about like surprises for Ash, and like Mallow's kind of the one leading the plan.
A welcome party.
Yeah. So the classmates are all talking, and there's something I wanted to point out. So Sophocles, who's like the tech nerd guy. Nerd. He is at his desk, and he has like a little like a Pikachu that's projecting like a computer screen. And I want to point this out because this is something I love about the show, is that like there's such world building. Like if we lived in a world where there was real life Pokemon, all of like our accessories, our equipment would also be Pokemon themed.
I wanna live in a
So like
Pokemon world.
it's just cute that his little projector, it's shaped like a Pikachu. And it's also, if you look, there's like a little cord that runs to a hamster wheel. So his
With
projector is,
Togedemaru running there.
yeah, yeah, his little computer projector is powered by his Pokemon, which I just thought was really cute.
It's very cute. I think my favorite part about that is it's not even using a Pokemon's special ability to run it. It's just
Yeah.
running like,
Yeah.
like a regular hamster could do. Very, very cute.
Yeah.
Great faces, like I said. And then we've got Kiawe again. He's saying he was in Ula Ula this morning. Flying on his Charizard. I guess he had to pick up something in Ula Ula. Ash finally gets here.
Yeah.
He shows off his new Z ring. Remember, he got in the last episode from Tapu Koko, and his electric crystal. Which we're going to get into that. Everybody's very impressed with this crystal, by the way.
Electrium Z, I think it's called.
Electrium Z, yeah. Kiawe is like, what's that Japanese term? Is it tsundere? Tsundere? He's like the only one who's not super excited about Ash, because he's like, you don't deserve that, buddy. You need dignity. But you need to take this more seriously.
Ash
is being a good
I will say that Kiawe has big himbo energy.
Yes.
He's kind of like, Ichiban in Yakuza's like a dragon, where he's like all about honor and stuff, but he's also like just like passionate about everything. But like I will say that like he is not as like harsh going forward. I actually made a note that like I forgot how much of like a rival he said like to be as like he later on in the series, the rivalry with Ash and Kiawe is still there, but it's like in good fun. It's like they drive each other to be better, and it's kind of made like their commitment to like drive each other to be better. It's kind of like made as a joke later on, but like in these early episodes, Kiawe is kind of coming off as a bit of a jerk.
He's not even really that bad. Like, he's not like an evil character. They just need like one character that's not super incredibly supportive of Ash.
Yeah,
he's just like, it's not as bad. Lily, of course, read about in a book, like every episode, the crystal and the bracelet. She's like, yeah, that checks out. Kiawe goes on to explain, well, I got mine from an actual trial and I worked for it. And he's got, like I said, he's kind of upset that Ash isn't taking it as seriously. You gotta be, I've here written down, you gotta be top 1% of gamers for a Z ring. And Ash isn't acting like it. Ash is like, okay, cool, whatever. and then the professor's super excited. Kukui is excited about his Z ring and crystal, which is kind of funny because wouldn't Kukui have already seen this crystal like that morning? Maybe Ash went right to sleep, or maybe he left or something.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. As I was saying before, all the electricity went out and destroyed whatever I was talking about. Going on about, let's see here. Professor's excited about the Z ring and the Z crystal. That's where we were. We're in the school. Then Professor Kukui is like, okay, we're going to have a science lecture with Samson Oak. And that's exciting for everyone because Samson Oak is a master researcher on regional differences. And an Alolan executor shows up, which is much taller than a regular executor. I assume if you're listening to this, you're familiar with the concept of an executor.
If not, I'll explain it really briefly. So, like the standard executor. It's like it has 3 heads that look kind of like eggs.
Coconuts.
And coconuts, eggs, yes. Yeah. And it's like a little palm shrub. But the Alolan version is like a traditional palm tree.
Huge spawn tree, like one of the tallest Pokemon. And what's funny is every game he's in, they do the big joke of he's so tall that you can't see all of him. So it's just like you you'll see like just this giant tree, and then you don't actually see the top of his head unless he's like going down to attack you by like swinging his head or something. Very amusing. And Alolan Executor has this separate little guy on his tail, which is about to come up. Alolan Executor is a dragon type, whereas the Cantonian, which is the first region, is a psychic type, in addition to grass on both of them, correct? That sounds right.
Yes.
Of course, of course. It is a science lecture, as we said. Samson Oak is going on about how this kind of thing happens, climate, habitat, and how the Alolan Executor is actually believed to be the original Executor. And then the Cantonian version, which I guess would have somehow ended up in their version of Japan later, would have evolved differently to be much more short and stubby. So Ash walks up to this Alolan Executor. He's familiar with regular Cantonian Executors. He's excited about it, and he goes to... does he go to pet the little head on the tail?
Yeah, he just like looks... He's just like near it, and he's like touching it.
You start to get the sense that that's not a good idea. Does Lily freak out before even anything happens?
Yeah, Lily's like, Ash, you might not want to. And then the tail...
just destroys Ash Ketchum. Just punts him across the room or something. And Lily's like, well, I could have told you that would happen. Samson Oak laughs, does some more puns. I know for a fact one of the little puns he did this time. He did a Conch Elder, which is a Pokemon from Unova Gen 5, because I recognize his little face. Everybody's laughing, having a great time. Ash, I guess, survives this violent and brutal attack, which is good. We cut to Rockruff being adorable, and everybody is eating dinner. I write everybody, but it's Ash, Pikachu, and Rockruff.
Yeah, they're back at Professor Kukui's house. Like, Professor Kukui has like prepared they're back at his house, right?
Yeah. They're at his house because it's after school. So you would imagine it's evening time. Cut to evening. So we saw all we needed to see at the school.
Professor Kukui like puts down a food for Rockruff and Pikachu, and this is like kind of where we learn more about Rockruff.
He's a little raw, like snuggling.
Oh, he's like a little puppy.
Yes, very cute. He's a rock type. He can evolve into multiple different forms of Lycanroc. Very sick. Rockruff loves his food. Then we get like what sounds like a serious phone call from the professor, at least in Japanese.
Yeah.
And you cut to the other guys, like the students, going, I guess they're in like a cafeteria or something at the school, or are they like a cafe or something?
They are at Mallow's family's cafe.
Okay. Right. And they're going on about a plan that's going to go ahead, which we brought up earlier, because they're going to have that big old welcome celebration for Ash. Very exciting.
Okay, before we go on, I guess in the Japanese version, they didn't do another Who's That Pokemon segment.
What was there? Who's that Pokemon? I don't recall.
So, after this like phone call, they do a Who's That Pokemon, and Aaron was making food or whatever, so he didn't see like the first part of this episode, and he came back when that was going on, and so I was like, Aaron, who's that Pokemon?
Yeah, Aaron's job. Aaron, who's that Pokemon?
And he was like, that's Catsman.
I love Catsman.
But anyway, yeah, that was funny.
Who was the actual Pokemon?
It was Rockruff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
You know, the sounds like the English version's doing a pretty good job of just showing you what Pokemon is in the episode.
Yeah.
And now that you say that actually sounds familiar. Maybe it was Rockruff in the Japanese version as well. Okay. So we know there's a plan going to happen. We cut to the next morning. Ash is already late for school. Again, as usual. I mean, the entire series of Pokemon starts with Ash being late. It's the whole reason Pikachu is his partner, because he was too late to the big, you're 10 years old, you can go on a big adventure, because he should have chosen between Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle. But he showed up late and had to get like the leftovers, because Pikachu Didn't want to be in a Pokeball, didn't want a partner, but it all worked out pretty well in the end. Ash walks in late. I think he's pretty nervous about it, but it's no big deal because guess what? It's big Alolan surprise. Everybody's there. Everybody's so excited. There's a big party. We're going to have challenges. Ash gets real excited because he's like, oh, we're going to have Pokemon battles? And they're like, no. And his first challenge is against Sophocles, and he has to pop balloons. And Ash does not seem that excited about it while the rules are being explained. He does a good face. A funny face. Ash. So the rules of the game are you just got to break these balloons. You can break them. Your Pokemon can break them. You can use your Pokemon's moves, whatever. So Ash starts trying to break the balloons himself. He's terrible at breaking balloons. He's taking a very long time. Meanwhile, Sophocles is just sitting there moving balloons from his hand to Togedemaru's back spikes, just breaking them at absolute record pace. Then Ash either remembers or somebody's yelling help from the side saying, you can use moves, Ash, like Mallow or somebody. And Ash is like, oh, sick. Pikachu, use a big old Thunderbolt attack. And little does Ash know, Togedemaru's ability, Lightning Rod, absorbs all the lightning, just setting themselves up for failure. Over here, we got Sophocles and his genius Pokemon, Togedemaru, sucking up all the electricity.
Finally, my plan.
My plans, it's all coming together. And just Sophocles roasts him because all this electricity just comes barreling out of Togedemaru now. None of Ash's balloons are popped. All the balloons on the opponent's side are popped. Ash loses big time. Maybe get prepared, Ash, to be losing a lot. No spoilers. Just maybe get used to that. Okay, so Togedemaru obviously wins. Now it's time for the next surprise, and it's a little swimming race versus Popplio. Is that correct?
Yes.
Absolutely adorable.
Well, they call it a aquathon.
Aquathon. That sounds disgusting for some reason.
Or like aquathon. Like Mallow explains it. She's like, it's where your Pokemon competes in a race on land and then in the water.
So it's easier to follow this. Let's make it clear. Mallow, green. Lana, blue. Kukui, red.
Yeah. So
Sophocles, yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just associate colors, it's going to be easy because and that corresponds with their like type specialties too. Electric, fire, grass, water.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way of doing it, I think. We're just going to call them their colors from now on, easiest. Okay. So there's a swimming race, and of course it's not really fair for a circus seal performer against a little Pikachu. I mean, Pikachu does a good job, I guess.
And like, Ash is like surprised that like this water Pokemon is better at swimming than Pikachu.
Yeah, I don't know why he's surprised. Oh, guess what, Geese? It goes without saying, but guess who is in the jungle in the darkness staring while all this is going on? That's right, it's Tapu Koko. Guy's got nothing better to do than just stare at children. So we go through the swimming race. Popplio, oh my God, does he ever win? He's little acrobat, absolute cutie pie, going 40 kilometers an hour is what they say in Japanese. I don't know what they say in English. And then
Lily's like, I once read in a book like that Popplio can go up to 25 miles an hour in the water.
Exactly.
Which I guess translate to 40. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Lily. So Popplio is just the greatest Pokemon known to man. Everybody in my version of the show does the Japanese thing they do in all sketch shows and everything, where they all go when something surprising happens. Pikachu's tired. Ash tells me he did a good job. Very supportive. The relationship between Ash and Pikachu is just absolutely wonderful here because Ash is like, you did a great job, buddy, and everybody's happy.
Wraps him in a little towel.
Oh, so cute. Because he's all tuckered out from the big swimming race. Ash, the loser, once again loses. We jump onto the next one, which is a Tauros race with Kiawe. So I guess, did they start the race and then we jump to Professor Kukui and Samson Oak talking about the festivities?
I think.
So, yeah, they start up the race. Then Kukui says there's a secret surprise Ash doesn't know about. Not that Ash knows about any of the surprises, so I don't know how. I mean, it seems like all of them are kind of secrets, right? I don't know. Maybe if like Ash had asked ahead of time, they would have given the itinerary but left off the secret surprise, which would be a battle against Kukui. Or so we think. Guess who wins the big Tauros race? That's right, it's Kiawe. Ash is a big loser again, but hey, maybe we can finally have a battle, is what Ash is excited about.
So I have a quick interlude, or I don't know what to call it. But okay, so Tauros, for those who don't know, is a like a bull Pokemon. And the race consists of like them riding it, because I guess it's another like ride Pokemon in this world.
Yes, the land ride Pokemon.
I have a question. Like, I thought that when I first watched this series, like I thought that Tauros were like legendary Pokemon. Are they not?
No, not at all. I mean,
Oh,
they were in the original games. They were tough to get because they were only in the Safari Zone. So just because they'd always run away, you can only use Safari Zone or Safari Balls or throw bait or throw a rock at them. So very difficult to catch originally. But no, they're just normal Pokemon.
oh, maybe I thought they were. Maybe it was in Pokemon Go that they were listed as legendary.
Are you thinking of Arcanine? Because Arcanine's like thing is quote unquote legendary Pokemon, but he's not actually a legendary.
I don't know. Maybe I was
there's
just
nothing
confused.
fancy about Tauros.
Okay, sorry for that interruption. Keep going.
I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about pokes. It's good to clear them up. Oh, before the next segment, after this loss, Mallow's like, listen, we got to eat. Ash is starving. Everyone else incredibly hungry. The Pokemon are hungry as well. This Pokemon food that Mallow makes actually doesn't look half bad.
Yeah.
Oishi slop, they call it.
Yeah, and
tasty and healthy.
Lily is like, oh, or Mallow is like, thanks for the Pokemon recipe, Lily. And Lily's like, yeah, like not only is this like food tasty, but it's also healthy for them. Because like before, when they were discussing, when the other classmates were discussing like plans,
or feed them French fries.
Yeah, I guess. And like Lily was like, you can feed them something healthier. Lily is providing recipes for Mallow based on her extensive Pokemon research.
In a book. They're in the Aina cafeteria, is what it's called in Japanese. I don't know about English. Eating this tasty food. Everybody's having a good time. Now, Geese, I don't know, maybe you recall, what happens every single damn time Ash sits down to eat something? What happens? He takes one bite. Who shows up?
Tapu Koko, like, comes barreling in, like, stops just short of, like, Ash's face, right?
Yeah. And he got your hat. He grabs his hat.
And then starts like playing around and putting the hat on like different characters, and then like eventually like flies away with the hat, and like Ash and the whole squad follows after Tapu Koko.
Yeah. There's a bit of a theme in this show. It's Tapu Koko and Ash chasing after him. We go into the jungle where everything happens. Ash chases. Sophocles, it really embarrasses himself here because everybody else is like jumping over the logs, doing great. Sophocles is like tripping and falling. He is heavier. He's shorter than the rest of them, I guess.
But there's something I like about the show, at least in the English, is that there's never any explicit fat jokes about Sophocles, which I feel like
no, I don't see that either.
Yeah,
I'd say more like the joke of him falling over the log. I mean, I guess if you want to look into it that way, you could. But it's more like I don't think he moves around as much as the rest of the guys.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is like they like throughout, like in the series, they don't like, at least in the English version, they never make fun of him because he's fat, which I like, because like it's such like a cheap trick, especially in like cartoons, of doing that.
Yeah, I don't think that comes up too much in Pokemon that I can imagine. Yeah. Like why would they do that? That seems like I don't see that road ending well.
Yeah.
For them.
Also, we forgot to mention before, when Ash was talking about when he first went to school and he was talking about his like Z ring he got, Lily was like, "Oh, you might want to be careful because like Tapu Koko is also the like give like the books. And I read in a book that Tapu Koko has like gives trainers like a Z ring and Z crystal as a way to like test them, and that they are also the like trickster god, which we see when like obviously Tapu Koko like plays around with the hat. So I thought I'd mention that as well.
Oh, good thing you did, because I don't even remember that. I wonder if that's English only line, the trickster god. Maybe I just missed it. Who knows? Okay.
And that he will, and that Tapu Koko will even like punish a trainer if they like don't like pass their weird tests.
Oh my god, I hope he doesn't kill these children. He sure is stalking them a lot, so who knows. Okay. So we're in the jungle, as you could imagine. Does Tapu Koko want to battle Ash? Oh, actually, this is my next line here, going on about what you just said. Lily read that in a book. That like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a battle. Okay, yeah, Tapu Koko. Yeah, he wants to battle. He can punish the children. Okay, so we know all about this. Don't worry, nobody's confused. This all is reasonable. This giant legendary Pokemon. They kind of look at Tapu Koko. You want to battle, bro? And he's like, or something.
Yeah, and then like Professor Kukui is like, well, I was supposed to be the last surprise, but I guess Tapu Koko had other plans. Yeah. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Ash does not get to battle Kukui in this episode. Spoilers, but it's okay. He's going to have a fun time battling Tapu Koko. And of course, it's very exciting and sick, as you could imagine. Tapu Koko starts off with an electric terrain attack, which everybody's yelling at Ash. Oh, that's good because it makes electric attack stronger. And you're using Pikachu, which is dumb because why would you use an electric attack against electric Pokemon? Dumb. Tapu Koko, very strong. He is legendary, after all. They have a big old battle, explosions everywhere. Everybody's having a great time. I think Pikachu does pretty well against the legendary Pokemon, if you ask me. Basically, what happens at the end of this huge giant battle is I believe Tapu Koko feels like Ash did well enough because he does give him Electrium Z. And then Ash immediately does the Z move with the Electrium Z. Like, he just knows what to do. Maybe he read it in a book. I don't know.
I thought that like yeah. So you're right. So they're fighting, and then Tapu Koko approaches Ash, gives him an Electrium Z, and Ash is like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll give it a try. Like basically like Tapu Koko is like testing Ash. And Ash and Pikachu's like bond, basically.
Come to think of it, I think I mentioned earlier that he already has the crystal. I guess he doesn't. This is where he gets the crystal. I must have been thinking episode 3. Because is there a third? I don't know. Maybe there's a third series.
He gets a crystal at some point.
There's crystals everywhere. There's more than one crystal. You guys understand. You follow. Come on now. Ash immediately knows what dance to do for a Z move. Pikachu and Ash move their arms around. Very neat. They do Gigabolt Havoc in Japanese.
I love this animation. Like the way this is animated is that like, so Pikachu and Ash are doing the same body movements. And so when they're doing this move, the animation jump cuts very quickly between the two. So it's like Ash and Pikachu are one and the same. It's so great.
It is very sick. I wrote the exact same thing you said. So, Tapu Koko flies up and away. He seems happy with Ash, I guess. I mean, it's not like he has facial expressions or really talks, but I guess you can assume that he's sort of okay with Ash. Mallow runs over real quick to check that Ash is okay. She seems pretty caring about it, but his crystal shattered. I believe, is it Kikui or Kiawe who says, buddy, you obviously are not ready to use that. Way too early for you to use a Z move. You need to, if you want to use a Z move, you'd have to like do a whole ass island challenge.
Yeah. And Ash is like, all right, I'm not like, I'm ready for the challenge.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Squirtle. There's no Squirtle here. I just wanted to say Squirtle because I did it. Okay. Everyone's very excited about Ash's decision to do the island challenge. I mean, everybody. I think even Kiawe is pretty excited about it.
Yeah. And then
they all offer to help as well. They're saying, we'll help you, buddy.
They're very supportive. And like we end the episode, they're at Mallow's cafe again, eating.
I have written here in my notes of the episode. So, I actually wrote Kiawe a bit hesitant, but, not too hesitant. Pikachu's very excited about the island challenge. And I wrote Kiawe explains. And then I wrote, it cuts to him getting his Pokedex. There's another eating scene, you're saying?
Maybe I'm wrong.
All I have written down here, you can watch the episode yourself to cross-reference, see what we're missing, if anything. But after the big Top Coco battle, it actually pretty quick just jumps into a preview for episode 3.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because since I watched episode 3 first, it was real weird because I thought I accidentally started auto playing the next episode. But it literally just uses the first couple seconds of episode 3. I guess it's the next day. Ash wakes up. Kukui's, these names, these names. Wakes up at Kukui's, and Kukui's like, hey, I got this sick ass new Pokedex for you. And he hands it to Ash, and it says, to be continued.
Maybe I thought that they ended in the cafe because one of my notes at the end of this episode was that Aaron thought that Bow Sweet was Rapidash.
Bound Sweet was Rapidash?
He was like, is that a radish? Is that Rapidash? And I was like,
radish?
No.
Okay. I once again need to pee before episode 3.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we'll leave it running because we don't want 400 different things.
I'll continue my recording grapes.
Okay. So it turns out if you drink a whole bunch of water and coffee, you have to pee a lot. Who knew?
Oh, yeah?
All right. So episode 3, the second episode I watched. Let me find where this starts. Go in the middle of the notes. Okay. Episode 3. The final episode of episode 1. The sequel to episode 0. Yet to be recorded. Okay. Is this in my intro? Or is it in the actual episode? Oh. So tell me if this was in the American version. In the Japanese version, it opens with a quiz, and it says, before the episode starts, which... Oh, sick. She's shaking her head no. I can see Geese shaking your head no. There's a Rotom quiz in the Japanese version, and it says, which appliance will Rotom go into? And it shows like a little fridge, a little fan.
Wait, it's Rotom?
Rotom's not talking. It's like the narrator.
No, I meant like it's pronounced Rotom?
Yeah. How do you pronounce it?
Rotom, because that's how they pronounce it in the show.
Well, they're dumb. They don't know what's...
Okay.
Rotom?
Yeah.
Come on now. That's
how they do it.
Rotom. Look.
Listen.
Here's the thing with Pokemon pronunciations. Sometimes you got to go with the official pronunciations. Sometimes you got to say, you know what? I'm sorry. Pokemon. It's not going to happen. One of those names, for instance, is Rayquaza. Like, we all say Rayquaza. Like, everybody in the world grew up saying Rayquaza. Then they're like, actually, it's Rayquaza. We went, that may make sense, but we're sticking with Rayquaza. Sorry, guys. What's funny is Lugia was the same way for me. I eventually changed it to Lugia, but when I was a kid, I was like, why the hell would you call it Lugia like a loogie when he luges through the air? So I called him Lugia first, but that's all Lugia. They got me on that one. I just say Lugia. Whatever. Okay. Well, you can say it correctly since you're watching English. I'll say it Rotom, like a distinguished Pokemon trainer.
Okay.
I don't even remember what appliance Rotom does go into. Maybe I wrote it down somewhere in here. Okay, so that's the quiz. It opens. Does this episode open with the plane arriving with Team Rocket? So that's the first thing we see?
Yeah.
Team Rocket is here in Alola.
And they're wearing, vacation clothes.
Oh, yeah. Gonna get their leis. Gonna get their big fancy hats and their Hawaiian button-ups and whatnot. Oh my God, Geese. I don't know about if it's just using the same actors. I mean, probably in English, but their Japanese voices are so sick. They just sound like the coolest characters of all time. Everything that comes out of their mouth is just so dramatic. Okay, so they sound very cool. What happens is we go back to a flashback that's describing why they're here. So they're in front of Giovanni. Giovanni's like, okay, look,
Giovanni, for those who don't know, and I learned this when I watched the show, is that like head of Team Rocket, of like the organization of Team Rocket.
Correct. He's also the 8th gym leader in the original Pokemon games. He's a mob boss, criminal underground Team Rocket. Although Team Rocket should be disbanded canonically, game wise, anime is different, whatever. But Team Rocket follows, because in the games, Team Rocket is only really around in a couple games, but in the anime, Team Rocket like goes each place to follow Ash because they're popular characters. They did. Jesse and James were put in Pokemon Yellow because they were so popular. Because Yellow is more like a retelling of the anime more than it is the game, sort of. Okay, so we're in like this super like Inspector Gadget, Dr. Claw room with Giovanni and his Pokemon Persian, which is the evolved form of Meowth. Meowth is Team Rocket's Pokemon. Geese, that's a good point. We should probably give more information for people who don't like already know established Pokemon original series kind of stuff.
Well, the nice thing about this show is that they do a really good job in general about providing information about like basic Pokemon stuff and also the specific Alolan stuff. Because like even I already talked about, like I don't have an extensive background in Pokemon, but like even I was able to like learn stuff through the show.
Yeah. So Giovanni says you guys need to steal a bunch of rare Pokemon that are Alolan. Get that Pikachu. I don't recall if they know Ash is over there yet.
No, they don't.
Okay. So get some Alolan Pokemon. And they're like, all right, sick. And Meowth's super jealous of Giovanni's Persian. And he's like, Meowth can speak English, by the way, or Japanese, depending on what you're watching, which is pretty rare. That's important to note. He taught himself that. It shows in the original series to like impress somebody, I think. Impress this other cat, Meowth girl.
Yeah. And
it's very rare. Pokemon can't really do that.
Yeah. And this Team Rocket, like Jesse, James, and Meowth, they're from like the original
they're from Kanto
series. Yeah.
Did I just say this or did I stop talking about it? But Meowth fantasizes that he's being pet by Giovanni instead of the Persian.
Yeah, he's like having
very important plot point for whatever reason.
As like Giovanni's explaining like the goals of why they're in Alola, like Meowth is having like an internal like monologue, being mad at this Persian and like fantasizing that like instead of Giovanni petting the Persian, it's Giovanni petting him.
All he has to do is do a really good job in Alola, and he thinks that's what's going to happen. So basically, Team Rocket is excited to go to Alola for their own reasons. We cut away from Team Rocket, and then we go back to Ash and Kikui and the new Pokedex, the Rotom Dex. Now, the Rotom Dex is absolutely wild. I was very surprised when they announced this for the game Sun and Moon for a number of reasons.
Because I was wondering, I wanted to ask you like if Rotom Dex is in the game, because like I'm just like, how would that work in the game?
So they really leaned into in Generation 7 Sun and Moon, the Pokedex doing a lot more. So it had way more information in it, way more like spots where you could catch Pokemon. You can take pictures with it, like they're like little mini games where you're like going around different areas of the game and like taking little photographs of Pokemon. It was surprising because Rotom's a Generation 4 Pokemon. That's from Sinnoh. That's not even introduced in this game, but because of Rotom's lore of it's an electric type ghost that can possess electronics and things, they thought, okay, that makes sense as a conduit for a Pokedex. So like you're talking to this Pokedex, you're talking to Rotom, even more in the past. Because, they've had Pokedexes in the past where you like open a Pokedex and the Pokedex says something about the Pokemon in front of it. But now like you could actually have a conversation with it seems like, to the Rotom Dex. And he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Sort of like Data a little bit.
It's a bit like Data.
What does Sugoi mean?
So cool. Basically Professor Kukui's like, I have a surprise for you. And then like, I don't know, downloads the Rotom from like the computer, and the Rotom.
He like, the Rotom like pops out of, I guess he does kind of like summon it. But the Rotom pops out of an electrical outlet. and
Yeah.
then like possesses the Pokedex.
Yeah. So like in the previous games, as my understanding as well, like Guyera said, like Rotom can like uh possess like a dishwasher, right? And like
A
there's a
washing
washing
machine,
machine.
a
Okay.
refrigerator, a
A toaster?
lawnmower, and a fan. Like a
Yeah. Um so he goes into this like basically like this little like shell that is the like the decks, like the Pokemon decks. And uh now Rotom is like a character on its own that talks and communicates.
yeah.
And it just like flies around.
Before Rotom got into the Dex, like I don't think he would actually be speaking English, but once he's
Yeah.
in the Pokedex, then he has like he speaks like a million languages. Like they make that clear. Like he's listening to whatever language is being spoken to him, and then he says that language back.
Oh my
During
god.
this, by the way, Rockruff is very alarmed. He's barking, he's spooked, and Rotom's going wild out of just jumping around everything. Ash is absolutely adorable in this art style. Like they just put his little face on and just this cute little boy.
I
And Ash is already he's accustomed quick to this lifestyle because he says Alola, meaning hello, to Rotom as the greeting. Because that's what they do in Alola. They say Alola for hello and goodbye. Much like Aloha in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
If you didn't catch that.
The fact you're so right about it being like data. I'm just like now thinking about it.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Rotom in my version has a funny voice. It doesn't sound like he fits. How does Rotom sound in English in his little Pokedex form?
He has like a high pitched voice that's like is passed through like a robot filter. Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to say the name of the episode. Coming in quick. Loading the Dex in English, or Hello Roto, I'm the Rotom Pokedex Roto, which isn't the translation I received when I watched because it was like bzz, Roto, bzz, something. I don't. Maybe that's what the Roto is referring to. Who knows? You translate it yourself. See what the hell this episode's called. So then what happens after he goes on about, oh, I speak a million languages, whatever. Rotom then photographs everyone because he's a self-learning Pokedex, which is very cool. And then guess what they do, Geese? They do a good face. They do that good art. Everybody loves it. Rotom goes on about Pikachu. Rotom pulls Pikachu's tail, which is a mistake, I would say. And then Pikachu electrocutes him. They're all freaking out. I guess we should make that clear. So Rotom Dex, he can kind of like float around via the power of Rotom's ghost type abilities. And he has little like, it's a Pokedex in the sense it kind of looks like, if you're familiar with the original 2DS, like just like it looks like a toy with a screen on it. But he has little arms that can do things as well, like little goofy looking Pokedex arms that can pull Pikachu tails and make mistakes. Okay, so after the bit, like they do that as a big like closing of the scene joke. Oh, everybody's getting electrocuted. Classic Pokemon. Classic.
Classic.
Classic. They're always doing that bit where Pikachu electrocutes everybody. Cut to a different scene. We're back to Beware. You remember Beware? He's in that forest jungle again. Now we get introduced to some real characters. Now we got some people coming in. Everybody's favorite Pokemon, Mimikyu, pops out. Now, Geese, would you like to describe what Mimikyu is?
Yeah, so it's Team Rocket's walking in the jungle, right? And they're the ones that see Mimikyu first, or is it Ash in the game?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was just saying what Mimikyu looks like, and then I'll say what happens because we got some more before Team Rocket, I think.
Mimikyu looks like a rag doll, spooky version of Pikachu.
Yeah, it's an interesting Pokemon because basically Mimikyu is a ghost type Pokemon that is horrifying to look at. Like if you saw his real form, you would just like die.
And that's literally implied in the episode.
Yes. So, you know, because of that, he doesn't really get any love as a Pokemon because nobody could stand to look at him. So Mimikyu becomes really jealous of Pikachu because Pikachu's like this Pokemon mascot. Everybody loves Pikachu. So Mimikyu thinks if he can make himself look like Pikachu, people will love him too. But that's not to say he doesn't have disdain for Pikachu. Like he's very jealous of Pikachu, and there's resentment there. But he still tries to look like him so he can be loved as well. Pulls down. Mimikyu just like walks out in this forest where the Beware is. The Mimikyu and Beware, and then jumps back to the school. Litten and Komala's a little cute koala Pokemon, are at the Pokemon school. They're yawning. Mallow's there. Everybody's there. All of the characters are now talking to Rotom. Since, Ash got the new Dex, it's the cool new thing to show off to everybody. Everybody's impressed. Sophocles really wants to open up Rotom and look inside because he's a giant nerd. Rotom does not want to be opened up with a screwdriver.
And during this, during when Ash is talking and they're all talking, all the classmates are talking together. If you look at the bottom, you can see Pikachu and Mimikyu kind of dancing together while this is all happening. They're having their own Pikachu and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Mimikyu's in the forest with Beware right now.
Sorry. Pikachu and Togedemaru are
adorable little boy. Yeah.
They're dancing together, having their own little moment when the classmates are talking to each other. It's just really cute.
There's a Psyduck. So Samson Oak must be here too because there's a Psyduck pond at some point. And then a bunch of other Pokemon that he says in Japanese and I don't know what he's saying. Okay. So today what they have to do is field work. So I guess it's Kukui coming in and says, all right, kids, stop Rotom. Today we got field work. We're going to catch a Pokemon. Ash is, of course, thrilled. I guess we cut away from there. Now we're to Team Rocket, which is what Geese brought up earlier. They are in the same jungle where absolutely every plot point happens. This is the same jungle with the Tapu Koko, same jungle with the Beware, same jungle with the Mimikyu. Mimikyu jumps out at Team Rocket. At first, they think it's a Pikachu, but then it's neck because it's just cloth on top of a ghost. So Mimikyu's ability in the video games is if you attack it once, I don't think you can knock it out because it just knocks the cloth head off to the side. That's his ability. So you'd have to attack him again to actually defeat it.
Wait, so is Mimikyu not new to this game?
He is new to this game, yes.
Oh, okay.
So Team Rocket sees its neck. It looks like it has a broken neck because its head is just completely head, quote unquote, because there's nothing in there. It's just cloth. But it's cracked over, looking like a broken neck. They're pretty terrified because they think it's just a dead Pikachu. Scared ass faces, obviously. Mm-hmm. And it starts to talk. Now, Meowth speaks English, but it's a Pokemon, so it can also understand Pokemon languages. Just all of them, I guess. Meowth is I'm not going to say what this guy's saying because it's the scariest I've ever heard in my life. And Jessie's like, well, what are you talking about? Let's catch this rare Alolan Pokemon. So she's like, Meowth, go attack it. And Meowth uses Fury Swipes or something, some normal type move. But if you know anything about Pokemon, you know that ghost type Pokemon cannot be attacked by normal type moves. So Fury Swipes doesn't do anything against the ghost type. So Mimikyu and Meowth keep battling. And then Mimikyu opens up its little cloth and shows its real face to Meowth. Now we enter the part of the episode where Meowth dies.
Yeah.
He's walking down a hell hallway.
So, wait, let's make it clear. So,
all right, let's make it clear.
Yeah.
Hell zone, death zone.
Yeah. So Mimikyu ends up showing Meowth his true form or whatever. And then we jump cut to Meowth basically having a near-death experience. So he's in his own head.
Yes.
So he's like Guyera said, walking down this dark hallway, and he sees this light, and he's like, "Oh, good, I found my way out." He was I don't know what region of Alola this is in. How did I get here? So he sees the light, and he walks into this bright meadow with other Pokemon.
Yeah, there's Glaceon, Lopunny, and Gardevoir, and they're all super chibi art style. beautified, yassified versions of themselves, like just like very fantasy. They run around in the flowers, chasing after each other and laughing.
Yeah.
But then what happens to make it clear that this is not all fun and games? You see the entire Ghastly line. So Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, spooky ghosts, chasing Meowth as he's running with the cute Pokemon. Okay, so as soon as we see that, it cuts back to real life, and we've got Team Rocket. So Jesse and James shaking Meowth, telling him to wake up. Then it goes back to the dream. Then it goes back to Team Rocket, and they're throwing water on him. Oh, so when it goes back to the dream, Meowth's like falling down into an abyss. So like he's like, I think he's actually just about to die at this point.
Yeah. And so like they finally are able to wake Meowth up. And Meowth, when he wakes up, at least in the English version, is like, if you didn't wake me up, I would have like died, basically. He doesn't say it, but he implies it.
This would have been it if you didn't throw water on me. Yeah, Meowth explains everything he saw in his nightmare zone. And then so then Team Rocket hears all the kids, so Ash and everybody from the school. So they have to quickly go from Meowth almost dying to hearing the kids. As soon as they hear the kids, they like jump away, like to hide in some bushes or something. So at this point, I suppose they are surprised to see Ash is here.
Oh no. God.
Can you hear me? Oh my God. Okay, hold, everybody, just listen for 1 second. My home, always fine, great internet. I always have access to such things as electricity. Guess what happens? Guess what happens the day we decide to record this first episode? Electricity's going off twice. I still don't have electricity. I'm going off my battery. The internet is through my damn mobile hotspot, wireless hotspot. Got 0.5 damn megabytes down, 0.6. This is it's one for the books here. Great start, great omen on this podcast. That's a secret. Okay, where the hell were we, Geese? Meowth's dead. Okay, they throw water on him, and then I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to read in the dark. Let me turn on the phone and my flashlight so I can see my notes.
The last thing you said was Meowth is dying. That's the last thing I heard you say.
It's insane that the cat actually survived. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so here's where we were. Team Rocket runs off when they see, as they would call, the twerps, right? The kids. They're surprised to see him, to see them, but they do plan on capturing that Pikachu, don't they? Like they always plan on doing. The kids, so Ash, Lana, Kukui, everybody, they see Mimikyu. And then Rotom, little Rotom Dex, tells everybody all about Mimikyu. Basically what we went over earlier. Like, you know, how it painted its little face to look like Pikachu. Ash says, oh, sick. I'm going to catch Mimikyu. So Ash goes to go battle Mimikyu, throws out Pikachu as usual, right? Mimikyu's very strong. I believe he beats up Pikachu pretty good. Pikachu throws a big old electro ball.
Well, first Pikachu tries Iron Tail, and like you said, Mimikyu doesn't get any damage, and his head just like, you know, tilts. And Ash is like, what?
So when does Team Rocket jump in? Like in the middle of the battle between Mimikyu and Pikachu?
I think so. Okay, so Team Rocket is like spying on all of this happening.
Right. They're in the bushes, as always, with Tapu Koko.
Yeah. I think after Pikachu does his electric ball and it doesn't work or something.
Yeah. It's a bit of a cluster, swear words. And they jump out at some point. They do a very sick intro. The intro for this is very good. Their new like Team Rocket intro. In English, do they still do the "to protect the world from devastation, unite all people within our nation to denounce the evils of truth and love, and extend our reach to the stars above"? Team
Yeah.
Rocket blast off, speed of light, Jesse
Yeah.
James,
So
verify me out. That's right.
kind of, it's like kind of changed. So for those who don't know or haven't watched any Pokemon series, these three members of Team Rocket, like whenever they run into Ash and his posse, they do this like anime introduction cutscene thing.
Very
They're
sick.
both like the Team Rocket's whole thing is that they're very dramatic. They're sick and dramatic. So yeah, it's kind of different, and like each time is like a bit of a different intro, if that makes sense.
Yeah, each
Like
season
different
I think is
words.
kind of different. In Japanese, it's very flowery and cool, and there's like Japanese characters all over the screen. I don't know if that's the same in English.
Yeah.
But basically, they do the big intro, introduce themselves. Everybody's surprised that everybody's there. Ash can't believe they're there. They can't believe Ash is there. So, there's like maybe it's unclear in my notes here, but basically what happens is Team Rocket wants to capture the Pikachu. Mimikyu is involved, and surprisingly, Mimikyu sides with Team Rocket. Like when Ash goes to battle Team Rocket after they jump out, Mimikyu jumps in front of him. Like Mimikyu throws a ball. Doesn't he throw like a ghost ball to stop Pikachu's electric ball from hitting Meowth?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Meowth, like Mimikyu chitters and like is like little language, and Meowth's like he wants to like be on our side to like, you know, because he hates Pikachu so much.
Yes, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Because he hates Pikachu so much, he's going to side with Team Rocket instead. For that reason, that makes more sense. I mean, I don't know if like Mimikyu's like just a bad guy, so he wants to go with the bad guys. But no, that makes the most sense because he just hates Pikachu so much. And of course, like I mentioned before, he's jealous. Everybody loves Pikachu. Then out of nowhere, Beware shows up again, just grabs Team Rocket, just picks him up with his little arms and runs off. Meowth and Mimikyu run off to save Team Rocket. I think at first, Mimikyu is still fighting Pikachu, but then Meowth is like, hey, you said you'd help us. We need to go actually save our friends right now. And Mimikyu's like, okay. Doesn't Meowth like pick up Mimikyu too, like in his arm? And then they run off to go chase Team Rocket? So everybody's picking up everybody in this episode is how this is working.
So something that's like a reoccurring bit throughout is that Beware will come and just eat Team Rocket away. Just like pick him up. Yeah, just like and basically like keep Team Rocket like as hostages. It's like a reoccurring thing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Guyera.
Hello.
Guyera? Guyera is frozen. Hello? It's reconnected.
Did your internet drop?
Can you hear me, Guyera?
I can hear you.
Maybe.
Can you hear me?
It's still recording, so nothing. Yeah, nothing happened, like on the recording side.
That's good. You got a bunch of cars driving past you?
Oh, cool. Yeah, they're mowing the lawn.
Good thing the episode's over. We did it. It's so loud. I love how this is all crashing and burning to the end. Just internet dropping, no electricity, mowing the lawn. How much does Aaron do it if they're mowing the lawn? I guess he doesn't do this in the morning or something, or in the early afternoon.
He does
it's
it
5 p.m.
Okay, so I'm doing it in the living room because his office has an uncomfortable chair and I want to sit on the couch.
Yeah, that sounds way better. So literally this all just destroys when I have one sentence left, which is the kids all run off to catch a different Pokemon. And then it says to be continued. That's the end of the episode. We did it. Why was this so
What a great
difficult?
start.
Why is this so
Wow.
difficult? Okay.
We have literally been recording for like 4 hours now.
Hey, it's a big first episode spectacular. Probably gonna drop any second. Okay, we did it. First episode. I hope you all loved it. Write in questions. Looklistencast@gmail.com. You guys got it. Follow all the social medias.
Follow us.
Looklistencast.
Yeah. What is it on Twitter? What is it?
Looklistencast.
What's our Twitter?
Yeah. All of them are Looklistencast.
Cool.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. For some reason on my end.
Can you not hear me?
I mean, I can hear you, but like your thing doesn't show like audio. That's cool. Everybody, because there's not much. God damn. Goodbye. Oh my lord.
You can really hear the lawnmower, huh?